Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, beautiful models, intricate dance maneuvers, and sharp objects. What could possibly go wrong? Tonight's movie, Too Beautiful to Die.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Worst Apocalypse! Yes, episode number 15! Coming off of last night's... unremarkable 3 from Hell. I thought, you know what, it's time to go back to the genre that just keeps on giving for me, and that is the Italian Giallo. And tonight I thought, well, you know what, I want to watch something a little bit more obscure. If Giallos aren't obscure enough for most of my fan base. But a Giallo that was not made in the 60s or the 70s, oh my goodness, but made in the late 80s, and that is the movie Too Beautiful to Die, which is technically a sequel to another movie, though I don't think they actually have anything in common except for models and death. But anyways, I think the Italian translates to Nothing Underneath, I believe. So this is Nothing Underneath 2. 2, not also, but whatever. Anyway, so what is Too Beautiful to Die about? Well, it is about a group of models who are working for this agency run by this sleazy guy who's got the worst computer porn game ever. I mean, it's got the graphical fidelity of Custer's Revenge for the Atari 2600. I was going to say look it up, but no. Anyways, and they're working for this music video director, and one of them catches his eye, and he's like, oh man, I really need her for this next video, which is going to be called Blade or Razor. I think, actually Razor? No? Anyways, it's about knives, because they've got these props, which are actual sharp, killy, deadly, stabby knives, because that's the best thing to have when you're dealing with untrained in weapon handling actresses, actors, and dancers, you know. What could possibly go wrong? Anyways, but before that, apparently the guy who runs the model agency is a real sleazeball, and he is being blackmailed by this rich business guy, I guess. I don't know, they don't really say. And excuse me. And so he requests that that same girl be given to him. And we find out that, no, she's a good girl and she's saving herself from marriage. But he's like, you know, this is not a friendly request. This is an order. And so that night there's a party, and all the girls are naked and swimming in the little, I guess, bath pool thing, whatever, you know, and of course, you know, instead of him like watching the fun go down, he's playing his garbage porn game. And of course, you know, everyone's there having a good time, and lo and behold, the old guy shows up, and well, you know, the object of his affection doesn't really want to partake, but the other girls, I guess they're all beholden to him for some reason or another, basically hold her down so that, yeah, the guy can have his way. So that, of course, upsets her really bad. She gets pissed off, gets dressed, runs out, takes the owner's car, and drives away. Never to be seen again, really. So the next day, the police show up and say, hey, you know what? We found your car, and it was at the bottom of like a ravine, and it's all burnt up and destroyed, and there is a dead body in there, of course, that's all burnt up. And lo and behold, this sets into motion a series of events where everyone who was at that party end up getting deaded. Yeah, and so, of course, in the true Giallo fashion, red herrings pop up here and there to lead us on a wild goose chase of who did it, when, in the end, it was someone who honestly made sense. What? I mean, the motivations didn't make sense, like, overall, but the person makes sense given the motivations and the things like that, and wasn't, like, completely out of the loop. So, yeah, actually, so anyways, let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Not very bloody. There are some really nice stabs and kills, but overall, not too much. Yeah, a lot of, ex post facto type of death type of things. So 2.5 out of 5. Shock value, 2 out of 5. There's a few good jumps in this movie, plus the fact that a plot that doesn't totally dissolve into insanity. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. Plot, here we go. Here's the biggest surprise. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 because it actually flows. It actually follows some sort of logic. And, even though there is ridiculousness, it makes sense in its own way and isn't like the janitor or the person in scene 2A that shows up for like a second and a half. No, so kudos to this. And I think it's actually kind of well done and creates a nice amount of tension. So 3 out of 5. Acting, oh man, 2 out of 5. Yes, this is not the finest moment for the acting profession, but maybe they used real models in this because women in this movie were but yeah, their performances were a little anyways. I like the detective though. The detective, I really did like his acting, but yeah, it was 2 out of 5. Nudity, this is actually the most shocking and surprising thing. I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5. I said like the scene where they're like naked swimming in the little you don't see anything, honestly. Like maybe like a nip here, but like really where it is there's like a sex scene and a bathing scene separate from that, where you're going to get most of your bang for the buck, I guess is the term I'm going to use for that. But I'm actually quite disappointed because, oh my god, some of these models just, I would not have minded to see a little bit more of them, but wasted opportunity. Probably would have cost them so much more extra. And they were like, you know what? It's the late 80s. Giallo trend is on a downhill downward spiral. You know what? I don't think we can really budget this anyways. So yeah, 1 out of 5. So moving on to enjoyment factor, still I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. This movie oozes style. I love the look of it, the set locations. Giallos just have these nice, unique architectures in their set pieces, and it's really great. Plus the fact is, this is kind of nostalgic for me because it is a really, really pounding that 80s vibe from everything in this, the look, the feel, the music video aspect of it. The music, which actually has 80s artists like Huey Lewis and the News. I mean, I recognized songs that were playing. It was crazy thinking about it. But man, so yeah, I just love the atmosphere and the vibe of this movie. I just wish that the kills were a bit more bloody and gory. And of course, maybe a little more model action, if you know what I mean. But yeah, 3 out of 5. My overall impression is a 3 out of 5. I think this is a very underlooked and underappreciated Giallo. I think it hits everything major in the Giallo category that you should hit, and does all of it very well, and actually has a plot that makes sense and a killer that isn't like completely out of the ballpark. So yeah, sure, the motivation in the end after all is kind of batshit crazy, but still, you know, I guess it takes a crazy person to start killing people, right? Anyways, so 3 out of 5. That averages out to a 2.4 out of 5. So there you have it. Too beautiful to die. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Give a like, share, subscribe, notifications, yada yada, bing bang boom. And I will see you next time on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And until then, internet, you guys stay scary. And remember, folks, remember, if if you're going to have to make an emergency call to someone because you're afraid that you might be next in the murdering department, perhaps the best thing is to go to a public place where that phone is, as opposed to a studio area that has to be locked right then and there when you have to make the phone call, and the only guy there is leaving, so you're going to be all alone because, you know, it's just a recipe for stab in you. Lots of times. Yeah.